How much countries have you been to?
Over 100.
And you can say for sure that Serbia is the best.
I actually can say for sure, 100%. Serbia is the best.
Meet Ed. He is an American who has been visiting Serbia since 2014 and has now chosen it as his home. Having traveled to over 100 countries, he now lives in a small Serbian city and runs a business in energy efficiency remotely. He shared what Westerners usually get completely wrong about Serbia, how he managed to cross an international border by car without license plates, and why America is no longer the best place to live. Enjoy!
As soon as I got here, I felt like I was home. It's going to be hard for me to describe it, but it had a calming effect and a welcoming effect. There are a lot of people that don't speak English here, but even with them, I'm instantly comfortable. So obviously the people have a lot to do with making me feel welcome. I don't really know how to describe why I feel at home here. It's just a feeling, and I never really questioned it too much or analyzed it. You can just stop anytime you want. So as you see, we're completely blocking traffic. It's not a problem. Cars will go around us. If there's a car here and there, they'll figure it out, and no one will think twice about it. This would not be cool in New York, let's say.
Yeah,
people would be rage honking. And,
yeah.
What do you call it when road rage?
Road
this would
rage,
be a reason for road rage. Here, they don't care. And again, that's kind of a laid. Well, it's more complicated than that. I say that's part of the laid-back attitude. You stop where you want, and people will get around you. But at the same time, they're also frantic drivers, very unsafe. People will overtake me on a curve. People overtake in a village where there might be a 30-kilometer-per-hour limit, and I'm going 50, and that's still not fast enough, and they need to pass me going 70. So there is a lot of that as well.
What do you think people from the West don't get about Serbia at all?
I can give you a funny conversation I had once with my mother. I had been visiting Pakistan and North Korea, Cuba, Russia, Syria, and I told her I was heading into Serbia to see my cousin, and she says, "Oh my God, Edward, Serbia, be careful." I think there's still a misconception that bleeds over from the Balkan Wars, that Serbia is some kind of Wild West, dangerous, lawless, threatening country filled with people that look like villains from a James Bond movie. All of my friends who have visited me here from America have all come back multiple times. It's something I don't think they think about very often. Serbia is not on top of mind, but when they hear it, they're not thinking the best things. I also doubt many of them would know how to find it on a map.
Have you ever experienced here in Serbia any prejudices towards you as an American?
I can't say that I have. At least I'm not aware of it. There's a lot of Serbian being spoken around me, and I don't know what they're saying. So who can say at the end? But face to face, it's always been smiles. I think it was in 2016 I had one funny experience. I was at a bar in Belgrade, and there was a guy sitting at the bar, and he asked where I was from, and I told him, Los Angeles. Okay, great. And he walked away and got onto stage and picked up a guitar. So he was the night's entertainment, which I didn't know when I was speaking to him. And he played a song, and he was very popular, and people were clapping and dancing. And then he stopped the first song and said, "Okay, we have a very special guest here tonight. He's from America." And everyone's like, "Ooh." It was just kind of funny. He's like, "I have a question for you. We all have a question for you. Why you bombed us?" "No, I didn't bomb you." He's like, "How old were you when the bombs were dropping on Belgrade?" I'm like, 18, 19 years old. "Old enough to be a soldier." Everyone's like, "Ooh." That's it. It was nothing. It's just something that stood out as I think back to my earlier days in Serbia. So that was an interesting little exchange there. This is how you make friends in Serbia on the road.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, what kind of a guy do you have to be to carry around a big blue middle finger? Everyone laughs. As soon as they see it, they just laugh. You cut someone off.
What is the worst thing for you in Serbia?
For all of you barbers and Vršac, I don't mean this to be directed at you personally, okay? I just can't get a good haircut here. So I'll go to Romania, I'll go to Turkey, I'll go to Belgrade, but I've tried, actually there's one new place I haven't tried yet in Vršac, but they really favor, they can do a buzz cut great, like an army kind of crew cut style, they're really good at that. for some reason, my skull shape or the way my hair lies, it confuses the hell out of them, and I can't get a good haircut. I can also complain about the border, but that could get me into some trouble. But it's just, I can't imagine, like if I was trying to figure out what could possibly go wrong this time, what ends up being the problem is so out of the blue. Airport's never a problem, but by land, there's always something that they come up with that they often turn out to be wrong about. Like you overstayed, or they don't know how to count a rolling 180. As soon as they start thinking, they're going to come up with some kind of problem. But in the end, so far, they've always let me through. Sometimes they'll tell a little joke, which is funny. This is not what I don't like about them. This is something I like. If I present my Turkish passport, like, oh, Turkish, what do I say? We were under the Ottoman Empire for 500 years. 500 years, my God. But it could be worse. Like, the Turks have been under the Ottomans forever. Things like this.
Let's do 3 best things about Serbia for you.
I'm going to go with the food, the people. Spomeniks are a hobby of mine. The word Spomenik is Serbo-Croatian for memorial, I believe. And after, I think it was 1948, when Tito and Stalin had a falling out, some say it was over Stalin refusing to bless Tito's idea to incorporate Greece and Albania into some non-Soviet aligned Eastern European bloc. Tito decided to push monuments in a new direction, something that wasn't socialist realist, where a face looks like a face on a statue. So these World War II monuments, which were meant to unify a country that had numerous ethnicities and languages and religions, unify them over a shared common pain of World War II. These monuments evolved into a brutalist, abstract shape, and they're often abandoned and crumbling, and I find beauty in decay. So no one knows how many of them there still are. It's all throughout ex-Yugoslavia. There might be 50,000 of them. I've visited over 500 of them, and that's one of the focuses on my YouTube channel are Spomeniks. Very low views, but it's my passion. So why not make that number 3? Sure, the artwork of Yugoslavia.
You can see Belgrade from here, right?
Yeah, on a good day you can see Belgrade.
I don't see it now.
Last time we saw it.
Is that a little Avila right there?
I think it's dusty from building the Belgrade Expo.
Your eyes adjust after looking at it for a while. Look. You see that little mountain beyond that? If you stare long enough,
yeah.
That is Avila. Camera's not going to pick that up, but
Of course.
That's Belgrade.
I was on my way to Sarajevo for Thanksgiving. I was in Croatia for a night, and someone stole my license plates. And I needed to cross from Croatia into Bosnia to get to Sarajevo and host my Thanksgiving dinner. And I got to the border, and you can't come through with no license plates. Like, yeah, but I have a turkey in the back, and I have people waiting for me in Sarajevo. I have to host this dinner. I got to get through. He's like, hold on 1 second, and he makes a phone call. He says, okay, go 10 miles up the road. You can cross there. And so I drive 10 miles up the road. I get to the next border, and there's a guy waiting for me, and he's just waving me through, waving me through, waving through. Didn't ask for a passport, didn't stamp me in. I just crossed an international border with no stamps at all. Had the Thanksgiving dinner. In Sarajevo, I talked to my landlord and said, I need to make some license plates. And they said, no problem, we'll make you some license plates. What do you want them to say? I'm like, well, it should look like they're, from USA. And I was like, there's 50 states, so it really could be anything, put South Dakota. They printed license plates on, metal. The landlord screwed one to my front and back. I go to cross the border back into Croatia to ultimately get back into Serbia. And the problem is, of course, I have no entrance stamp into Bosnia. So the guy's flipping through, and he's like, how did you get into Bosnia? And I'm like, oh, I came through the border over there. He's like, they didn't stamp your passport? I'm like, no, they looked at it, but they didn't stamp it. He's like, okay, well, you got to make sure you get a stamp next time. I don't think you can do that anywhere but in the Balkans, where there's a solution. And it usually involves a phone call to another guy who you do favors for. It's like, yeah, let him through. What other borders? We're like, yeah, don't look at his passport. Don't worry about no license plates. Just go through. And then once you get there, they make you fake license plates, and then you cross back again, and it's no issue.
Do you personally like such attitudes? Because it has its flip side,
Well, it has its advantages, and that is that If you do things the very legal way, sometimes they're so costly or time consuming that you just can't do it and you can give up. It's nice to know that maybe with the right phone call, you can get something done.
Oldest continuously operated business in Vršac since 1854. Mom and pop ice cream shop with the best poppy seed ice cream, mock ice cream. Thank me later.
This is when the day turns around and starts becoming good.
This is how it's called. That's sladoled sa ukusom maka. That's poppy seed ice cream, like prvi put.
Probam.
It's very cinnamony, but the poppy combination of poppy and cinnamon is like it's very special.
It's great. Cities like New York and Los Angeles, they're big points of attraction. Why did you decide to move from these big places to Serbia to Vršac?
When you leave America, there is less of a need to make the amount of money that you needed to make just to be able to afford to go out a few times a week and pay your rent. If I were sitting in LA right now, just rocking back and forth, not leaving the house for a month, I would still need about $7,000 or $8,000 a month just to not leave the house, just to sit in my rocking chair. Here in Serbia, much less is needed to have a similar way of life, a similar comfort. My house in Boca that I just purchased was 8,000 euros. My house in Vršac cost me 100 euros a month. Now, it's not about the money you can save, but it makes it a lot easier to move to Serbia with savings that you would not feel comfortable slowing your work down in America for. But in Serbia, I can afford to slow down and still be comfortable.
There are a lot of other countries. For example, I don't know, Thailand. Everybody loves Thailand. Cambodia, also Vietnam, where you can get the same amount of goods and quality of life as in Serbia.
I've been to all three of those countries and they are fantastic, but in terms of connecting with locals, I don't find it as easy in Thailand or Cambodia or Vietnam. I think if you're going to move your home to somewhere, it should be a place where you can feel embraced by the people who actually are from that country. There's a group of expats in Bali and they all just hang out with each other. There's not a lot of mingling with the Balinese people, for example. In Serbia, you can't help but be introduced to their culture they're very curious people. If you sit down for a cup of coffee and you sit there for an hour, someone's going to come up to you and ask you where you're from, why are you there, how do you like it? I get these questions every day. I find joy in that.
Haven't you thought about moving to Belgrade?
I do enjoy visiting it from time to time, and I have a lot of friends there, and it's nice to go there and have a wider variety of dishes and restaurants and bars. But for me, it's too much traffic and too many people. There was a time when it would have been perfect for me. Now, I don't see Belgrade as a place that I would want to move to. I prefer knowing your neighbors. Any cafe I walk into here, they know who you are. That small town vibe I like. You can get that in Belgrade if you stay within a neighborhood and you have your routine and you keep going to the same places over and over again, I'm sure. But I just prefer smaller towns now.
You should be very tired from big city life.
Vršac is beginning to feel like a big city life to me.
Really?
Yeah. As I'm getting older.
Yeah.
I want to have less and less chaos around me. Vršac is not crowded by any real metric, certainly not compared to Belgrade. But if I have to wait a few minutes before turning left on a street, I start to think Vršac is too big for me.
Do you have traffic jams here?
In Vršac, no.
No?
No. This, by the way, is one of two cobblestone streets.
Oh,
Observe.
Really?
Very beautiful. This is a kibbutz fenster, by the way, these windows that stick out. So kibbutz is a Hebrew word that means some audience offering unsolicited advice about something that doesn't concern them. And the idea is that if you're in that window, you can see up and down the street and forward, so you get to know everything. You're a gossip, you're nosy. So this was built by the Germans, the Danube Swabians back in Austro-Hungarian times. It's called the Kibbutz and what it does now is it just knocks out drunk people a lot. When you're drunk, you have to watch not to hit your head on them. They're the perfect height to slam into. If you're not paying attention, if you're talking to a friend, you're going to hit a Kibbutz fenster. It's a rite of passage here.
Oh, yeah. Have you slammed
I have.
into it?
Yes, I have.
What type of rakia do you prefer?
I guess dunjevace is pretty good. Yeah, so my cousin's making rakija, and I like his rakija best. It's free, and it's good. It's smooth, it's abundant. Gets you drunk, yeah. I am actually trying to slow down recently after a series of bad events, but I blame Serbia for that. I never used to black out, and I find myself maybe once every 2 months in a situation where I wake up and I don't know where I am, and I'm actually somewhere where I've never been before, and I don't know how I got there, and so things like this make me realize that a change is coming. But you know, the Serbs for the most part can handle their drink, and they like to drink a lot of it, and maybe my metabolism is slowing, I don't know what it is, but the big reason that I'm pushing for a more sober lifestyle is I got caught in a drunk parking incident. I wasn't driving, I mean I was in the car, but I was parking and I hit a car behind me and a car in front of me as I was parallel parking, and then I blew like a 1.8, which I guess is a lot. The police at the time said that's blackout drunk, and I made some comment that I don't remember, but I hear I made some comment like maybe for you. But it turns out I did black out because I don't remember anything about that. I only hear stories and can piece it together. So these aren't things I'm proud of, and I'm certainly not comfortable with these things. So.
Okay, so what's the best food for you in Serbia?
Laskovačka mučkalica. It's this stew. It's spicy. It's pork based, and it's just extremely tasty. Grožđeval is coming up soon in Vršac, and that's a great time to come here and try out the mučkalica. It's the Grape Harvest Festival. If you're around, stop by.
The second choice and the third choice.
It's going to sound horrible, possibly, maybe cliche, but I really like cevapi. And it differs from city to city, from region to region, from country to country. You know, there's different cevapi you find in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and there's different cevapi you can find here in Vršac. Even within Vršac, there's 3 different kinds of cevapi. Number 3, I like pork fat. It's good to spread on bread and eat it, or just eat it cut up on a plate. I was just reading the other day. This is an aside. A reason why there's so much pig-centric dishes in Serbia and Romania and throughout the Balkans. What I read was it had to do with the Ottomans when they were here, that the Turks, the Ottomans would take all of the livestock from the people except the pig. And so they learned how to cook the pig a million different ways because that was their primary source of protein. I don't know if that's the gospel truth, but that's what I just read recently, so I'm excited to tell everybody that.
What do you miss most about America here in Serbia?
There are some foods that I miss. A bagel. I haven't found any good bagel. I do miss New York pizza. I miss American Q-tips. The ones in Serbia and throughout Europe, I find you stick it in your ear and it just kind of wilts right away, or there's not enough cotton and you're kind of poking yourself with the end of the stick. America makes great Q-tips. And toilet paper. I really miss toilet paper. You don't need to get 4-ply to have it soft and effective. And I think it lasts longer too. Like I like the Scott 10,000, where you have 10,000 squares in one roll, and it's very thin, but they don't fall apart. When they get wet, they don't just disintegrate. America's really great at the toilet paper. What else do I miss?
Because it's a shit state.
Okay, I do miss off-roading into the desert and the mountains. I can do that also in Europe, but there's a real off-road culture in America, in between LA and New York. That countryside is beautiful. The national parks are incredibly gorgeous in America. So I miss that, Death Valley and Joshua Tree and Sequoia National Park and, White Sands and,
What do you think, how people in America are different from people in Serbia?
It's tough to generalize because America's huge and there's so many different ethnicities and languages. Everyone at some point when you go back far enough is an immigrant, and from city to city and region to region, just how laid back you are or how work driven you are can change measurably. I feel like you have to perhaps tiptoe a little more carefully in conversations. If you disagree with someone and that person is passionate about another side, maybe they won't be your friend anymore. In Serbia, I find myself disagreeing with people all the time, and you just have a passionate discussion about it. And at the end of the day, you're still going to try to walk each other home drunk without banging into a kibbutz fenster. So I would say maybe they are more judgmental as a whole.
How do you view America now after living abroad for so long and after living in Serbia?
Growing up, you learn that it is the only free country on earth, and it is the greatest country in the world. We're very lucky to have been born there. Freedom is such an important word in America, and you go to any other country and you don't really feel a difference. So this brand of freedom does not belong exclusively to America. Of course it doesn't, but we kind of grow up believing that it does. When you leave for a while, you no longer swallow the idea that it's land of the free, home of the brave, you know, this shining light on a hill. It's just a country like any other. It just happens to be perhaps the most powerful country in the world, and you know, the richest country in the world. I would just say that the biggest thing that changed for me in my views about America is that I no longer think it is the best, whatever that means.
Do you think Serbia changed you?
For sure, but...
how did it change you?
Yeah, that's what I was afraid you were going to ask. I am far more laid back about everything now. When I was living in New York and Los Angeles and something needed to get done, I would be in full panic mode and focused until that got done. And if someone needed to do something for me, I would be on them until it got done. Or I would expect it to be done by a certain deadline, and it would be done. Serbia has broken all expectation of task completion, timely task completion, or even proper completion of a task. And I'm okay with that. It's just a different pace here where it'll get done if it gets done. Maybe I'll show up, maybe I won't. And if I do, maybe it'll be done right and maybe it won't. And jebika, you know.
Let's enjoy
Let's drink some
life.
Rakija.
Yeah.
And I appreciate this way of, I have to say, I really appreciate this way of life more than the rat race that is living in the major cities of America.
How much countries have you been to?
Over 100.
Over 100.
I don't have an exact count, but I hit over 100 a couple years ago.
And you can say for sure that Serbia is the best?
I actually can say for sure, 100%. Serbia is the best. There's nowhere that I would rather live than Serbia.